Thanks for staying with us here on Focus on Frisco. Maybe you had a chance to go to the fridge and get a little something to drink. But as promised, Rick stuck around. Thank you. I've got you here for a little while today. Let's backpedal a little bit. When we were in the break, we were talking about some of the housing and things like that and some of the programs that are coming up. And you wanted to highlight a few more things.
Thanks. So some of the partnerships that we've been working with over the last few years is just collaborating with the other municipalities and the county on county-wide projects, whether it be housing or other traffic really is a hot topic. So that's really what I wanted to talk a little bit about is our collaboration and partnership with CDOT. The GAP project started a number of years ago, and now that is not only the plans have been drawn, the whole project has been funded, and it's shovel ready. So they have a plan in place, and through a collaboration of citizens groups, staff here at the town. This is a process that I was working with those groups as well, just listening in and seeing where I could maybe speak up for the town a little bit. Was the plan changed quite a bit. So what we came up with was, and sometimes a compromise, and in other areas just a complete rework. And a lot of that came from the citizenry. We had homeowners associations, several of them represented, that are going to be impacted by this new development of Highway 9 from the hospital light down to Main Street. And they came forward with some great ideas. And CDOT was open and listened and did. All the asks weren't there, but we came to a really good place at the end of the day. I mean, we're going to have a pedestrian underpass to get folks over to the peninsula.
That's amazing.
Which is going to be great. Folks can utilize the Summit Stage, get off at the County Commons there, and then come across underneath the highway safely and get them on over to the peninsula, whether that be winter or summer. It's super exciting. Hopefully, the goal from my perspective was to keep the lanes as small as possible, which will slow traffic down, and then a couple of roundabouts came with this program as well.
I heard that. I was reading that. What's the story with the roundabouts?
So we had it was traffic lights, essentially traffic lights or roundabouts to get folks out, and then when you talk to the CDOT traffic engineers, and that's a whole nother discussion that's can be a little mind-numbing, but at the end of the day, we came to roundabouts, and from what I've seen, roundabouts slow people down. And while folks are going to come and go through Frisco, whether they're going to stay here or whether they're going to continue on over to Breckenridge, we want to keep them at a safe speed for the pedestrians here in town. And at the same time, we want to give them an opportunity to check out the cool Christmas lights we have here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So my question on the roundabouts. And I think everybody feels it in all of these towns that are starting to implement them. It's definitely become more prevalent in the last couple of years, in the last 10, 15 years. But slowing it down is different than stopping it. And I mean, I'm sure that was a huge discussion. And CDOT really kind of came forward along with you guys and said the best way to do it, to approach all of those things, speed, but not like getting everybody to a standstill, was roundabouts.
So roundabouts is what bubbled to the top during the conversations. And it gives, so with a roundabout, similar to a light, you get, as multiple entrances into it. And then because the lanes narrow and they turn, it slows the traffic down. And then we do have the light at Main Street that will stay. That will stay. And then the light further down at School Road, that's going to stay as well, because we do need a hard stop there to get folks and the kids across the street to go to school. So where it made sense, the roundabouts came in as a traffic calming mechanism, I believe. That's the term that they use. And again, the wins on it were calming of the traffic, getting a pedestrian underpass in to get folks across Highway 9 without having to go through traffic. And then we still have the other lights in town where the pedestrian traffic will need to make their way across. Folks need to get from Main Street over to the marina. So we want that light there.
And that really does, when, again, during the break, we started to talk about this, and this really does go into the housing thing, because as more opportunities come up for people to come into town and stay and live, we really do need a lot of these things, and I love the idea of the underpass.
It's great.
Because it's going to move people.
It's going to move people. It'll again. It's right now. Folks are getting off the Summit stage, which is a great program, and they are making their way across the highway. And that's not how we want folks to move.
I think that's a good way to not want people to move.
Yeah.
It's busy.
It's busy, especially in the winter at dusk when it's getting dark earlier. Yeah. It's just a better way to move people across. It'll be lit and it'll be well marked. But while that collaboration, I'm really like the design that came forward. We just had a meeting last week about the 203 exit in collaboration with the 205. So Silverthorne and Dillon were also there with CDOT, and that was a really healthy conversation. Super preliminary,
right.
But it's good to see that we're looking at those two interchanges. And for us here in Frisco, we see the traffic back up on the highway. We want to work with CDOT to come up with plans to make it safer, to get folks to work and to school. Let alone skier traffic.
Yeah. Putting all those things in, and I do love the idea that you guys are working within the towns. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Breckenridge between Highway 9 or, as you said, Silverthorne and Dillon. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I always get onto the highway on 201 because if I can see 203 and it's not pretty after that, I pop right back off.
Right.
So that's good. Now you said that for the GAP program, I mean everything is ready to go. The plans are done. Are we talking breaking ground here pretty soon? Well, I know we're going into winter.
Summer of 20.
Right.
Will be phase 1. It's my understanding right now, if the timelines work out, it'll be a 2-summer project. So it'll be completed end of 2021.
Okay.
And we all know how construction works around here. We're all subject to the weather. So that's the timeline as it is today, but we'll see how it unfolds while they're going through it.
Awesome.
But yeah, there's a lot going on there. At the end of the day, if we can move people better and safer, will be a good project.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that really is a great segue into our next one, which was recreation. Yeah. And one of the most prevalent summer and winter recreation areas certainly is the peninsula. And we were talking about that, being able to people to stop at the county commons and walk under and get to the peninsula. Yep. And I think that is a great lead in for recreation is just such an important part of our community. Yeah. And you as a town council, I'm sure you hear it. You certainly see it. Mm-hmm. I know that you participate in it, as do our kids.
Yes.
Tell me why and where you guys went with recreation this year.
Sure. So let's break it out. So on the peninsula itself, we upped our game with mountain bike trails. We put in a number of miles of single track. With the advent of Iron Springs having been in place, it gave us some opportunity to expand some trails out to where the old the water side was, where the highway used to go.
Right.
So now we have a trail out there, which will also be encompassed into winter activities. That'll be part of the Nordic Center, which is going to be great. Other amenities out there, we brought in the skate park, which is become part of a destination skateboarding venue. Yeah. Folks are coming to Summit County to hit our skate park, and they'll go over to Breckenridge and check out theirs as well. They're two distinct different parks, so it gives people completely different experiences. Yeah. So that's been great. The bike park's been there for a few years now, and I know my son enjoys it a great deal. Yeah. And again, the tunnel will help get him there safer. He won't have to deal with the traffic. Continuing, and a little bit of expansion took place at the bike park with some new features and some new lines. So that been super exciting. We worked on just improving some of the existing trails. The perimeter trail was a really high on the list to get improved, and that trail has been completed and redone. Didn't change the route a whole lot, but just made it a better experience for folks when they're out there. Yeah. To that end, we have our children's running program out there, Mountain Goats, which is a super popular program that we have all summer. So much fun to see. It's fun. It gets kids out there. It's super cute to watch them run, and just have a whole family activity. There's a ton of families out there doing that. Other things out there in the summer, the disc golf, we expanded the course by 9 holes. So that started to happen last summer and was completed this summer. So that's been a good experience. My son and I went for the first time and played a little disc golf. It's fun. Yeah. It gets us outside and just enjoying the great sun that we have out here. Exactly. Right along the water's edge. That was really fun out there at the peninsula. In addition to that, the Big Dig Phase 1 has been completed.
Yeah.
So that's over at the marina. Again, to get from Main Street to the marina, we're going to use that traffic light for pedestrians. And the Big Dig, wow. We moved a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
And unfortunately we had to store a lot of it for longer than we had hoped, but now it has been removed, which is just in time for winter because we need that area for snow storage.
You bet.
But with the Big Dig, we were able to triple the size of the beach, which has been a very popular amenity out there.
I spent many hours out there this summer.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you guys made a great choice implementing that.
Sure, and that's staff are the ones that make it happen, right?
Oh my gosh.
So they did a great job out there, getting that beach up and running, and then getting the new docks put in,
Yeah.
And expanding our capabilities to take in some more boats, not a ton more, but a few
Right.
more.
Yeah.
With a deeper marina, we were able to get just a different size boat in there, which was cool. And that was sold out before it even opened, which was awesome.
I am not surprised.
And then the Island Grill was busy as
Rockin' and
always for the
rollin'.
summer.
Yeah. It really was
yeah.
such a cool place to spend afternoons.
Nice.
Yeah, I have had certainly friends who come up every summer or whatever, and I would say, hey, let's head over to the beach. And none of them really understood what I was talking about until I would take them, and they said, this is totally different than it was last year or the year before.
Right.
And it really was so much fun. And it was fun to listen to people who'd never been here before, spending time on it. And it was really, that was a great feature.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of fun, and I think it'll just grow in excitement for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and phase 2 is being worked on right now, and that's going to encompass a new building out there. We're waiting to see some designs and see how we want to use it. Driving that is a lot of feedback from the staff out there and
Right.
from community members. Again, they gave some input as part of the community plan program where we had some work sessions where folks were able to give some ideas, which was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And it really is, and then all the parks kind of got some ideas on what was going to happen, whether it was bathrooms or adding different play areas and things like that. And all of this can be found, certainly, if you go to the town website, you can get links, and then you can go to the town and get some more information about that.
Yep.
But I mean, the recreation really, I felt like that was such a big focus this summer, is trying to figure out what people wanted, what people needed, whether it was the visitors and what they wanted to see with parks, or whether it was the residents and how they wanted expanded and improved.
Right. So we looked at all the parks, to your point, and we identified our top 3 being Walter Byron, Pioneer, and Meadow Creek. And as it's been explained to me over my time in council, it has been the visitors want to do what the locals want to do.
Yeah.
So to that end, we've looked at those parks, and we're looking to expand some restrooms. And again, not sexy, but at the end of the day, it'll be a great amenity to have in town, and some greater lighting. Hopefully over at Meadow Creek, which will be nice. We can do some ice skating over there.
Oh, I hope so. You know that's a priority. Yeah. And it's been fun to see those possibilities.
Yeah.
We get it that not everything works out the way that we're hoping it to. But these are, at least the town is aware of it and what the people do want and what we want to offer to our guests to really make it that experience that they say, oh my gosh, we're in the town of Frisco and you'll never believe what they have.
Right.
And I think that's pretty exciting, and I think it gives us a lot of opportunity to do that, and our parks are so amazing to start.
We love them, right? Love the parks here in town.
Yeah.
And to your point of getting more community input, we've got Catch Up on Council, which gets posted after every council meeting on our website. In addition to that, you can also sign up for council and building department information and updates of what's going on over there as well. So it's been a lot of outreach by Vanessa and her team, updating multiple different social media platforms and websites.
There's a lot going on in in the media and the social media. I mean, there's really a lot of places that you can get the information that you need. And with that in mind, we just want to remind everybody to stay involved. There are so many ways that you can be involved, whether it's offering your opinion, serving on boards, serving as volunteers, but these are all ways for you to stay involved and certainly get the idea of what you you love and wouldn't mind seeing changed or improved or something like that within the town. So whether you're here on vacation, there's always things to do and feedback to be given. But for those of us who live here, I think these are really the important things, so that when we talk about stuff like quality core services, it's the community's input that you guys are really going off of.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
Rick, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for
I'm
having
very
me.
excited that you came by. I look forward to having you back again. It was a great discussion. It was a fun one to kind of recap the year as we start to wind things up. And you gave us just a glimpse of what was going to be coming up in terms of movement and more in the near future.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Vanessa is going to be joining me, and we're going to be talking about stuff that's going into 2020 as well. So stay with us here on Focus on Frisco.